In June 2012, the Interbrand will be launching the Best Global Green Brands. I'm Charlotte Fitzgerald and I'm joined here today by the Global Head of Interbrand, Jez Frampton, and the Deloitte's Global Head of Sustainability, David Pearson. I'd like to start with you, Dave. Could you tell me how sustainability has evolved to be a key aspect of the C-suite agenda for companies around the world?
Well, sustainability has developed a lot over the last few years as it has become much more than a feel-good story. And it's much more about whether it's looking for cost optimization. That is one aspect of sustainability. But even more than that, and the value that a lot of our clients are seeing, is around the engagement with their people. And also, focusing on sustainability really is driving innovation in a lot of our biggest clients. And it really is driving some energy and excitement that goes from being a cost tool to actually helping develop products.
Right. Jez, tell us about the launch of the Best Global Green Brands 2012.
We're actually launching it around the world. So it's there's going to be an event here in London, where we are right now. There's events in New York and in other places around the world. The most important thing for us, though, is that this should be helping companies to recognise that actually there is a value to being a sustainable green company, and that actually they need to recognise that it's not just what they do, it's how they're perceived to be doing that matters as well. And bringing those two things to a point of balance is really what we try and do through the table, is to help companies understand how they're perceived and how they're performing, so that they can make sure that those two things are in balance. In today's world of social networking, you can get found out very quickly if you're saying you're green, but you're not. On the converse, if you are doing well, you really should be letting your market know. It's a powerful driver of people wanting to buy your products now.
Mm-hmm. Jez, you talked about the real value of sustainability within organisations. Going back to Dave, can you tell us a bit more about what are the motivational factors for companies to pursue sustainability initiatives within their companies?
Well, I think when we look at the drive for sustainability, more and more our clients are looking at their businesses with a long-term horizon. And they're seeing, as they expand globally, that there are challenges in parts of the world that they would not have seen a few years ago. And so when you combine that with what we've seen around how this is engaging their people, it's all coming together really well. And to echo Jez's thoughts around, it's so critical to be perceived at the same level as you're performing. Mm-hmm. And our people, you have thousands of people able to judge you every single day, and they will. So you better do it right.
Mm. You've both touched on the topic of perception versus performance. Jez, why is it important for companies to narrow the gap between perception and performance on their green agendas?
I think the most important thing nowadays is that because of what we're able to do just as normal people through the internet now, the connections through social media and the like, companies are very quickly called to account if they're doing the wrong thing. And actually they also need to be in a position where doing the right thing is noticed by people. And those two things are directly linked to the notion of performance and perception. On one hand, what Deloitte do is that they help understand how well a company is actually doing, from the commitment of their senior management through supply chain right the way into products. Is very, very thorough. So that notion of how is this company actually doing then can be matched with, well, what does the market think? So are you perceived as being as good as you really are? It's important to get that balance right, particularly in the world where consumers are, shall we say, ever more cynical about what companies tell them, and very, very quick to point out if they're doing things that they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. And the converse of this is also very important as well, right? In that if I have performance greater than how I'm being perceived, we better understand that as well. You don't want to be leaving money on the table, and I don't care if you're the CFO or CMO or CEO. It's critical that is understood. And if you have an opportunity to maximize the value in the marketplace, take it.
Absolutely. I mean, as Dave said, it's not just on the outside, it's on the inside too. So if you understand, I mean, that the chances are, if your market perceives you as being, you know, not as performing as well as you actually are, then the chances are that's on the inside too. You know, so on one hand, being perceived as a good brand is a driver for purchase. On the other hand, it's a great reason to stay working at a company or to go and want to work there. So these things are actually powerful drivers on the insides of organisations as well as on the outside.